The movie 50 First Date is about a veterinarian playboy who fell in love with a woman who has a short-term memory loss. She always forget what happened last day. We will use this movie to show example and scenarios about memory, how it functions, how it can be impaired, and how it affects our daily lives. In this video, my members will explain functions and other scenario in the movie about the impairment of memory.
Let's talk about memories. Throughout the brain, the connection among neurons are capable of changing in response to experience. This neutral plasticity provides the basis for memory. There is a region within the temporal cortex that includes the hippocampus. The hippocampus and surrounding structures play an important role in the storage of new memories. Also, research has found that prefrontal brain regions are strongly associated with the both encoding of new memories and retrieval of old memories. Human memory is a powerful mental process that has many implications on life and how you experience things, from remembering meaningful events to enabling you to execute tasks and achieve tasks. In essence, human memory has three facets: sensory memory, short-term memory, and long-term memory.
Many scientists prove that there are specific areas of the brain that are responsible for storing memory. These are the amygdala, hippocampus, cerebellum, and the prefrontal cortex. The amygdala is involved in fear and memories that are associated with fears. The hippocampus, however, is responsible for declarative and episodic memory as well as recognition memory. The cerebellum plays a key role in procedural memories like how to play an instrument like piano. Lastly, the prefrontal cortex functions for remembering semantic tasks. According to a study of Carl Lashley's experiment during the 1950s, he formulated the equipotentially hypothesis, which means if part of one area of the brain involved in memory is damaged, another part of the same area can take over that memory function. Specifically, he focuses on the presence of the engram in the brains of the rats. However, this experiment is a complete failure because the rats still find their way to escape the maze after making lesions in the brain.
Visual sensory memory. We can start with the instance where Henry, despite his expertise with many animals, correctly specified the fundamental health concern in the turtle's lung problems using his memory and visual sense from the monitor. Second, Alexa explains to Henry that her goal is to save animals as she saw herself physically covered by Jackie's bonnet. Next, the cousin of Henry's told him that he had recently met a sexy blonde tax attorney. Well, this is an illustration of an iconic memory, which is a mental image that lives on the memory even after the original sight has faded. Also, this is demonstrated when Dog bets on the outcome of the football game with Lucy, since the memory remains after the very first time you've watched it.
Despite not being able to remember anything that had happened on her dad's birthday and thereafter, Lucy still remembered her mom and dad's theme song, and according to her dad, she would unconsciously sing it on the day she would meet Henry. This falls under our auditory sensory memory, or also called echoic memory. There are various types of memories that the brain maintains, wherein echoic memory stores information from the sounds we hear from our senses before this auditory information is processed into our short-term memory. Lucy may have briefly stored the song that she heard in her echoic memory before it was processed to her short-term memory and eventually long-term memory, all of which happened before her accident.
Even though Lucy has short-term memory loss, which causes her to forget everything that happened the previous day, Henry never stopped reminding Lucy of the things that she forgot. So when Lucy watches the tape made by Henry and what Lucy is writing in the notebook are lovely memories of her and Henry together, because she is conscious of the fact that the following day she will forget it. These things support her working memory, which is the area of short-term memory that deals with the immediate conscious processing of perceptual and linguistic information.
Depth of processing is a design theory in which it is believed that when information is analyzed more deeply, the more information is more likely to be retained. Information has to do time in short-term memory to get into long-term memory. And results like this indicated that the more time done, the more likely information is to be remembered. In the part of the movie where Henry repeats his happy memories with Lucy and makes her remember what happened when she had an accident, because Lucy has short-term memory, Henry helped Lucy remember her by making a video that she watched every time she wakes up.
Next, in correlation with the theory of short-term memory to the movie, first let's define what is short-term memory. Short-term memory is the memory mechanism that allows us to retain a certain amount of information over a short period of time. The theory of short-term memory proposed that attended information went into an intermediate short-term memory system where it had to be rehearsed before it could go into a relatively permanent long-term memory. In the movie, Lucy suffers from Goldfield syndrome, a kind of amnesia described in the film as loss of short-term memory. As a result, her memory is only good for one day. When she falls asleep, her brain reboots to the day the amnesia began. Lucy have the ability to recall things all day and then rapidly lose all those when she falls asleep. During her sleep, she is unable to transfer information from one memory stage to another. Lastly, the character in the movie, named Tom, who only has his memory for 10 seconds before he forgets everything again.
In the movie, Lucy has a form of amnesia that prevents her from forming new memories, as her newly acquired memories only last for a day and resets as soon as she falls asleep. However, she still has her long-term memories up until the accident that caused her the brain damage resulting to her condition. This can be seen with how she can recognize her family as well as some friends in the diner she was going in. Also, in her first conversation with Henry, she was able to remember how when she was younger, her father would go fishing and would smell like one as he goes back home. This indicates that she still has her long-term memories intact prior to the accident. Additionally, since Lucy could not retain short-term memories, she could also not form long-term memories as seen with how Henry would need to help her remember their accumulated memories together.
The storage capacity of our brain differs substantially and we retain memory in the same process. Overall, in the movie 50 First Dates, we can correlate this on how our memory works and shows how powerful our brain is in retaining memories. It shows Lucy's unique condition wherein she permanently lost the ability to learn or retain any new information. This indicates that Lucy is unable to convert her short-term memory into long-term memory. Although Lucy suffers from short-term memory loss, we can still see that she still uses her auditory sensory memory and her working memory still works, though it only lasts for a day. Lastly, in the movie, we can see that Lucy's visual sensory memory can only be remembered for one day and vanishes as she sleeps.
The importance of memory in psychology is it allows people to reflect on and make use of prior experiences to frame their perception of and conduct in the present. Additionally, memory provides people with a framework for understanding the past, present, and future. In short, our memories are essential to the core of who we are as people. That means each related memory loss can represent as loss of self. By relating the current happening to previous events, memory allows the perceiver to identify a remote stimulus as being familiar. The perceiver can infer the characteristics, correlates, and effects of the stimulus using memory by referring to previously learned information about the outside environment.
So, everyday memory focuses on how people use memories in their daily activities. One defining aspect of everyday memory research is the focus on the functional aspects of memories or what memory is for. Some examples of everyday memory includes remembering names, remembering plans for the day, remembering items one needs to buy at the grocery store, remembering the lessons from yesterday, remembering to take medications, and remembering phone numbers, directions, or recent newsworthy events. In order to do a variety of daily tasks, our working memory, which entails the temporary retentions of information over seconds and minutes, and is important in our ability to conduct a variety of daily tasks.